Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Monday Motivation Podcast. No more excuses. This is your hostess, Sandi Ballard, and I appreciate you listening and being back here. If it's your first time, welcome, and hope you go back. This is podcast number 134. So I've been doing this for a couple minutes, and appreciate you guys sharing your podcast. Your podcast? It is your podcast. But one thing I haven't asked for a while is where you're listening, what state or country, that sort of thing. So if you care to share, which I wish you would, please comment or email me, sballard@growingforward.biz, B-I-Z. And, if you're sharing this on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, please comment or, make sure you'll obviously like it as well so I can see who it is and maybe I'll send you a book. I would like that, huh? I would like to find out who is following me and sharing. I appreciate all of that. And last week, it was a long week, but a fast one. We've all been there, right? As I had mentioned in last week's podcast, my birthday was the 13th, and then my boyfriend's was the 15th. So last week was a long week of, celebrating birthdays, so not really working as much. And then having friends call and say they want to go out for lunch or drinks or something. And then I had some monthly meetings, so they weren't common weekly meetings. So my schedule was just sort of wacky. And I personally did not do well managing my shit show. Even, yes, after last week. Last Monday was about being the ringmaster of your show, right? So I didn't stick to my usual daily habits. And I got off track. But, birthdays are only once a year, right? So what about you? How did you do? So the point of the podcast about being the ringmaster, that topic, was about learning to manage your shit show, learning to manage your good show, no matter what it is. So when you do have an off week, whether it's a birthday, whether it's distractions, new clients, things you want to try to squeeze in, or shit is truly going sideways, you know how to get back on track, all right? You know how to manage your show. It was kind of ironic funny, as Friday when I walked back into my office after a late lunch with some beers, I was like, I know I'm forgetting to do something. And yeah, there were a couple things. So after I kind of thought about it, I was like, well, let me go look at my lists from the week and see what I've crossed off and what's still left to do. And yeah, so I took a Post-it note and I wrote down the 3 things that I needed to get done. One was I had to get done, and there was a couple that I just like to get done on Fridays to help manage my business and promote things. And so I got those. I got one thing done on Friday, and then I got up Saturday and knocked the other 2 out. And I even had a friend text me and want to play euchre and have some fun on Saturday, and I had to put my boundaries back up and say, no, I had a great week. I needed to get some stuff done, so I had to mind my boundaries or I'd regret it on Sunday, right? So what about you? Being the ringmaster of your own show, how did it go? What did you realize? If shit was going sideways, how did you recover? Did you recover? So that's what all of this is about. Going back to so many of my previous podcasts, it's about paying attention, recognizing when things are going wrong, why, and refocus so you can get back on track. I had a client meeting last week, and we talked about the things falling off his plate and why. Well, he's trying to do it all, and he can't. But he's also gun-shy in hiring because some people he's hired haven't fulfilled, in the past, they hadn't fulfilled their duties. They disappointed him and frustrated him. And so that goes back to, my other client I've mentioned who has a revolving door with one department because their onboarding and training process has been broken. It's been a fire hose of reactive mode. So anyone that walks in just gets thrown in and never really truly gets trained, or things change as they're figuring it out, right? So I'm helping him do the same thing. Set up a schedule, determine the days to work on the business and in the business, and keep the list of what's not getting done, so he knows when he goes to hire his next person, he knows what he needs to have help doing. And find the right person to fit versus just finding someone and throwing the shit at him or her, right? Like I've said, it all needs to get done now, but it can't. So how can you move forward? You prioritize, you create the plan, and you do your best to stick to it. I didn't stick to my schedule last week. So figuring out how to be the ringmaster, figuring out who can help and how to ask. I talk a lot about this in my upcoming book, The Magic Pill. Life is a team sport. So whether you're a solo entrepreneur, have partners, or 50 staff, many people, the main owner or wherever you are in the company, you have high expectations of what you should be doing and be able to get done. And then you have perceptions of what other people think if you don't. And it's usually bullshit. It's false. And it's hard to ask for help, especially if you've been burned before. But think about who and how you've asked. All right? So if you're still wondering how to manage the show, how to tame the flying monkeys, how you'll ever get it all done, and you're not willing or think you can't afford a coach, someone like me or any other coach that's out there, you've got to figure out how to look at what's falling off your plate. You have to make that list of what's falling off your plate. I know, you're so busy you can't make a damn list. Well, you got to. So you got to figure out what's falling off your plate and look around and who's in your world. Or once you know and you realize what you need help with, then you can open your mind and your eyes to who can help you. It doesn't always have to be someone you know right away, but you just have to be open to it, right? So thinking about this week, I need you to tell me one thing. Email me, sballard@growingforward.biz, or post in the comments section. What's one thing that's falling off your plate, that's been on your list forever, that's causing you frustration, causing this shit show to keep going, and causing you to not be able to move forward. Okay? And if you would like me to help you, please email me, sballard@growingforward.biz, and we'll figure it out. But otherwise, I want to hear one thing that's falling off your plate, that's been on your list forever. And then the next parts, finding out the who and the how and all that, that'll come later. So each week, or each day this week, I will post a question. The first thing is figuring out that one thing you really need help with. And then by the end of the week, you'll figure out who and how to help. All right? I look forward to hearing from you. Again, please make sure you share this podcast to help others, all right? Because there's more of you out there that are going through this craziness, all right? And as you can see, I do as well. Have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.